In the way. Okay. Am I starting there? Is that where we're beginning the whole video?
What?
I mean, we could, certainly. So we began now. Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for joining us today. Where am I?
Illinois.
I'm in Illinois.
It's hard to keep track of where you are, though.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I'm here doing some family photos, and we figured, why not also film some board game videos? Because you're the Funkhausers.
Board games.
You were celebrities to me when me. You're not allowed to judge who I considered celebrities.
Okay.
You run one of the largest and most active, and I would say friendliest board game kind of communities on Facebook.
Okay.
And then you're like, I'll take that compliment.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
It's
I'm
kind
okay
of
with
our
that.
mission.
Keep them coming. I'll allow it.
And then along with that, you have a YouTube channel called Board Game Spotlight, where you just got back from deployment, and so you're starting to do some more content over there. You're kind of bringing everything up and running again. And so we're here filming some top 5, top 10, whole collections of lists. Do y'all want to introduce yourself, plug yourself, and then, I'm just going to shut up while you show me what games you like playing together.
So, I think we're kind of Lizzie's at a disadvantage because Jesse and I are talkers, and it's very difficult to get us to be quiet.
Just okay, boys.
boys, you're both beautiful.
But I'm in the center, so everyone can see me really well, and that's what they're really here for, right?
No complaints there.
Yes.
So I'm Derek Funkhauser.
I'm Lizzie.
And we work the Board Game Spotlight, and we work with a couple others in that community. James Hudson, namely, Jimmy Hudson, Steph.
Not related, oddly enough.
Yeah, oddly enough.
Even
though Jimmy's first name is James, so it's actually double James Hudson's.
But you can't do this. Too confusing.
Can't do that.
Gotta pick a nickname.
Yeah. So we do the Board Game Spotlight. You can find us on Instagram, on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all of the things. We even have a Discord, but it's not super active yet. I was gone for 10 months, like Jesse mentioned, so I'm trying to get right back into the things, and we're trying to get things going again, and we're super excited to be able to be with the Duck himself.
You're catching up with all of us. Either way, I asked you all to put together a few lists. We're doing personal top 10 lists with both of you. We're doing 5 games you played while on deployment.
Yes.
This list, however, is top 5s from both of you?
Yeah.
2 players.
It's a modified top 10 2 players, but it's Lizzie's top 5 and my top 5, but you could kind of smush them together because I think we both would agree that we like a lot of the games on our top 5.
I think he likes a lot of the games on my list. I think I haven't played all the games on his list.
Or you have no interest, so that's fair.
I was going to be kind and say I just haven't played them. They don't need to know I have no intention of playing them.
Yeah, well, let's start pulling through the games. What do we have?
So the first one we have here is Dice Throne Rerolled.
Yes.
And it comes from my list.
I have played this one. I do like this one.
Dice Throne is a game. It's a 2-player dice rolling pseudo kind of magic feel because you got characters, you got abilities, and it's also like a new age Yahtzee where you're using your dice to power up your character. You're trying to get 3 of a kind, straights, full house, all that stuff, right? And I think you've played this.
And you get to trigger cards and abilities and punch everyone else in the face.
Oh,
which
absolutely.
Is Rerolled specific one that you're pulling, or are you doing the whole Dice Thrones collection?
Dice Throne collection.
We just didn't want to take over the whole table.
Yeah.
There's a lot
I
of content.
didn't want Lizzie to be...
It's true.
Like Dice Throne Adventures just fulfilled, and that would be in the list.
Have you started playing through that yet?
Not yet, but we're going to.
Okay.
You were playing with Manny as a prototype. It was amazing.
We actually played the Kickstarter. We did a Kickstarter,
yeah.
for that.
So we have...
Why do you like it as a 2-player? Because I know it does play higher.
Yeah. So there are, like King of the Hill, there are team variants. You can play up higher. I just think, boiled down, that this is a 2-player, head-to-head.
Pitch your
characters.
characters.
So fast. 20, 30 minutes. Maybe even shorter, depending on the characters that are playing.
Yep.
And I think when you're playing 2 players, you also can see more characters, right? Like you could even set something up where like each of you drafts 3 characters, and you could do like a knockout. Okay, now I'm bringing mine in. I knock yours out. You get another one. So you can just go through the characters so quickly at 2 players. It works so well.
There's so much variety too.
Yeah. This sells in sets of 2s.
That's all. That
also primed in a way for kind of a 2-player experience.
Absolutely.
Where would you recommend someone starts?
I think that you should start with Rerolled Season 1. Go back to the basics because it has the Barbarian, the Pyromancer, Moon Elf, like some of people's favorites champions or favorite heroes. And then I would get Rerolled Season 2.
Okay.
Just because it's more of the same. And then once you've got a really good feeling of how the game works, get into Dice Throne Adventures.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something from your list? What else do we have?
I don't know, Derek's Mr. Magic over there. That's not my list.
Close to. Little spoiler there.
Yeah.
Derek's very excited about his own list.
Duelosaur Island.
I've never played it.
Have you played Dinosaur Island?
I have played Dinosaur Island.
So, think of a boiled down, smaller footprint.
Okay.
Dinosaur Island, but it's specifically 2-player. So, Duelosaur, 2-player.
Okay. What's it doing?
It does everything that Dinosaur Island does, but much tighter, much more compact. A lot of dual use cards. So the cards you can build them one way or you can flip them around and do them the other way.
Okay.
So takes up a smaller footprint. I know Derek loves those giant metal coins. No giant metal coins here, but just great gameplay, just a lot faster too, so 30 to 60 minutes as opposed to, Dinosaur Island is a couple
60
hours.
60 to 90, yeah.
It is, and it takes up a whole table, and that is overwhelming. While it's a good game and it's fun, it just is so much to set up. This game, I can play the entire game, put it away in the time that, takes to get the other game just set up and ready.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we have a toddler that's running around right now, so you might have heard the doorbell ring. He loves to ring the doorbell when he comes home, and he's running around right now. So if you hear any of that, that's him having a good time.
It's just, life, right?
Life as a parent.
It's been fun. I met him out in California.
Yes, you did, yeah.
It was, a year and a half ago? Maybe 2 years ago?
I was like...
Yeah.
And now he's about a fully functioning human, and I'm not quite sure how both of you combined can keep up with him.
He is full of energy.
We do, the tag team where we're just like...
Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. I did it for a couple hours.
So would you recommend this over Dinosaur Island?
I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Especially for 2 players. Like if you're playing either of those 2 games, 2 players.
You want to do it, go this one.
This is going to be the one to do.
Yep. But honestly, I don't feel the need to play Dinosaur Island if I have this one in my collection.
Fair enough.
That's because most of us Lizzie and I play 2-player games almost exclusively.
Yep.
So that's why. And
you need something that plays in 30 minutes,
right?
Because that's about the amount of time you have.
We're also just really quick players, so we can fit in more games that way too.
Yeah.
So this is Unmatched. I pulled the Buffy mainly because Lizzie's
I love Buffy. I love Buffy Spike. I heard Spike was in it, and I was like, we need that game.
There he is on the back. So Unmatched is one of my favorite 2-player games because I love the asymmetry of all the characters.
Okay.
Again, quick hitting. 20, 30 minutes.
This is a head-to-head, combat tactics.
Yes, it is. You've got cards that are going to let you move, activate abilities. You can see on the back of the box, you've got a board. And what I really, really, really love about this game that I want to see more board games use is the way the range system works is color-coordinated to
with
zones.
The different regions, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're adjacent, some regions can look down onto others. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Then some of them will have the same multiple colors, so it can hit either color, and it just works very well.
I'll tell you, there's a game coming out, bigger box game called Bantam West, which I compared to Red Dead Redemption. Mm-hmm. It uses a very similar positioning system. I agree. I really like how that type of layout, when it comes to orienting yourself, works.
And it works well because it boils down line of sight so quick, right? Because you can look at the board and see, can I hit this character? I can. Done.
You don't have to do all that math in your head.
I'm terrible at math. Anyway.
2 to 4 players. Why is it on your 2-player list?
Again, because 2 players, it just plays a lot faster. I do like it at 4 players, I'll tell you that.
Yep.
It just makes the game a little bit longer, and I like it at 2 players, again, just for that head-to-head.
You're pitting characters.
And you get a little bit more movement freedom. In a 4-player game, you are definitely, in the thick of it.
Okay.
And so, on 2 players, the board's a little bit more open. Yeah. But I would also recommend this at 4 players.
Okay.
He would recommend it at any players.
At anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also love... So this is the Buffy one, obviously, but they have so many different...
Bruce Lee. They've got the Alice in Wonderland. So there
the
are
multiple... Fog. So,
and
it's just, ridiculous that you could have Spike versus, Dracula versus, Alice in Wonderland.
Versus
and I love
Sherlock.
the crazy mashups, and they're all just... fighting each other. It's ridiculous.
This is a re-implementation of Star Wars Epic Duels, which I actually own as well. And they did a lot of development to bring it into a modern age. This is from Restoration Games, so that's what they do, right? It's Restoration in Mondo, so beautiful game.
Yes. Nice. Very cool.
I love it.
Oh! This is a lovely game.
The Duel, yes. So I love the original game. I would still play it. It's a great family, quick. So it's just, the Duel boils it down is you have that grid with the ships, and you're trying to, the race to fill it. Because in the original game, it's whoever gets their ship there, and then they lock it in. This one, it's you're filling the ship, and whoever moves the ship first.
Yep.
Okay.
So I like that kind of puzzly, can I get there first? Can I
It's a clever
overtake
game.
It is. It's a
game.
really great, has the essence of the first game, but it is a very different game from the first game. So I like that it's similar, but I like that they're different enough that I feel like I want them both in my collection.
I'm noticing a theme where you're taking a game that is really popularized, that's great, but maybe a little bit bloated because they're trying to fit so much in for more players. And you're going, I really like when they refine it to 2
box.
Well, and for me, I just had a conversation with a few friends in the industry talking about realistic player counts on boxes. And part of me, when your list is pulling out right now, I'm respecting the fact that this doesn't apologize for being just 2 players.
No.
It does that, and it does that.
It does it really well.
It knows what it knows what it is, and it does what it does. Right? Like it's not trying to fit 4 players in there. It's not trying to fit 3. It is a 2-player game.
That's it.
Who would you recommend this game to? What type of gamer would enjoy it?
I think really anybody. It's entry level enough where it's not overly complex, but it does a lot of clever things where players will play, or a new player will play it, and it'll click with them about halfway through maybe, and they'll be like, let's go again. Because again, 30 minutes. So you could play right again.
And then they're prepared when you pull out Imhotep and be like, okay, so similar thing, a little bit more.
Would you baby steps from this to Imhotep? Because the last one you said you don't have interest in playing Duelosaur Island.
I would.
You go from, you go up.
I'd go back and forth.
I would.
Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. Very cool.
Plus, I love ancient Egypt, so.
Well, that's fair.
I mean.
So biased a little bit.
So, here's another 2-player only game, Watergate. And this is...
I'm mixed on this one.
Are you?
People haven't convinced me yet.
Okay.
They haven't. So tell me what does it for you?
I haven't played this one yet.
What I love about this game is the fact that the Nixon player feels so dramatically powerful.
Okay.
It is so thematically appropriate because he had all the power. He could do what he wanted to get out of things. He could pay people off. He had all these informants. He had everything to pull this off. But the journalists still were able to uncover things. And they were able to sneak and do all these things. And when you win as the journalist, you just feel in this game, just like one of your games you'll see in a little bit, the thematic ties to this just make you feel, it evokes emotion. As a journalist, when you pull off that win against the Nixon player, you just feel triumphant. Because it's difficult. It's very hard in the game. It's not unbalanced because I have won as a journalist, but there's and I've talked about this before, is the perception of balance and the perception of power. And the game is balanced in a way where the Nixon player is perceived as overpowered, but he still is not because the journalist can win. And it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. The mistake I've been told by multiple people that I've made is I played it twice and then stopped.
Okay.
I've been told you really need to play both sides, and you need to get far enough into the game that you understand how both teams are functioning.
So this is a game that if you're going to try this, it is imperative, and again, it's a 30 to 45 minute game depending on how you play. It's imperative that you play one side and immediately swap to the other.
That's what I've been told.
You play the journalist, then you play Nixon, because you see the strategies evolve, because it is 100% asymmetric, because the Nixon player plays so much differently than the journalist player does. And so getting a respect for that, and also helps with your own strategy, because if you don't know how Nixon operates as a journalist, then you're not going to know how to beat him.
With that in mind, do you introduce this game to new players, or do you primarily play this with people who you've already taught?
This is going to be
more rewarding the more time.
More rewarding the more you play it, and I would not play against a new gamer. I would specifically try to teach this to 2 new players. Once they understand it, then I can play.
I hear.
Because I would feel you would be at a disadvantage. Playing this against somebody that's played it a lot. Now that's not bad, but this game rewards multiple players.
It's just the type of game it is.
It is.
It's just the type of game it is. Very cool. If I had guessed, I would have guessed this would have been on your list. I just didn't think it through. Nice. What else do we have?
This is Lizzie's.
Scarlet Pimpernel. We both love this game.
We do.
And this is, I'm a really big reader. This is based on a book. I have not read the book yet.
What?
I know.
Insane.
How? You read... No. She's not just a really big reader. How fast can you finish like a 300-page book?
4 hours.
Jesse, I will be reading a book. In fact, I am reading a book. And Lizzie will be like, oh, I just finished 3. In the amount that I've gotten through half. And I'm not a slow reader. Because this is the most interesting thing so far. Why have you not bothered to read the book yet? Are you scared that it's not going to be as good as the game? Is that...
No, I did not know, honestly, about the book until, this came out. And then I just...
It just never happened?
I just didn't think about it.
What do you like about the game?
So the management system with the cubes.
Okay.
So we all start with the same amount. What is it, like 20, 25 cubes or something like
25
that?
25 in a 2-player.
Yeah. And so you place them on the board, and if you complete the mission, they come back to you at the end of the game.
Okay.
But if you misplace them, or if you don't complete that mission, they stay out there and you lose them. So it's really managing the cubes and trying to score as many points, because every cube that you put out, that you get back, it's a point.
Yep.
So it's just that time management, because you could place all your cubes in a turn and then hopefully get them all back.
It's a very slick management system.
It's great.
Is this a bit heavier than most of the stuff you've pulled out, right? Because this is Eagle Griffin Games.
Yeah, this would definitely be heavier.
I would say, like, for Eagle Griffin Games, it's
on the lighter side of this.
It's
certainly lighter than
this pile we have right now.
Yeah.
Okay, why 2 players? Because it does play. This is another one that has a range,
I think it goes up to 6. I want to
say. It does. And we played it at like 3 and 4.
I played it at 3 and 4.
Good. Mm-hmm. I just like the openness of the board at 2, because you have so much command of the
on
board,
and
it's much more playing the other player.
It's playing off the other player. It's a cat and mouse.
It is.
And it's also a very interesting dynamic, because it is a semi-co-op in a little bit to where you want to work together to complete the missions for Pimpernel, so you can maximize the points you're scoring.
Yeah.
You can still fail missions, and that's fine. You just won't maximize the amount of points you're going to score.
Okay.
And so it's kind of that, like, okay, are we going to do this together? Are we going to try to get this? Or are we just going to let it go, right?
And there's a tug of war at the top of the board. There's places where you can put your cubes, and whoever has the majority there
gets asymmetric powers.
A bonus action. So you can be like, okay, do I want to put extra there and make sure that I have that bonus action for the next round? Do I want to score more this round? And so there's that like mental tug of war of what are they going to do? Where am I going to go? I love it.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. This is one I need to try still. I haven't had a chance.
So, if you're watching, you may see a recurring theme in the games that I'm bringing out.
Shocking.
This is historical, but highly interactive, and that's
Shut Up and Sit Down loved this one.
Highly interactive, confrontational 2-player games. I really love. And the reason why I love them at 2 players versus like 3, 4, 5, 6 players is because there's only one opponent. In a 3 or 4 player game, you might feel like you're picking on a player, or players aren't getting the same amount of interaction. In a high confrontation 2-player game, there's only one other person to interact with, so it's always back and forth.
You're both picking on each other.
You're both picking on each other. You're both trying to win, and I think that's the best way to handle confrontational games.
Undaunted. I have been told by so many people to play this game. Why am I going wrong having not played it yet? What am I missing out on?
Me too, because I'm over here.
Deck building tactical. Lizzie's not played this one.
Yes.
This is a tactical deck building game set in, this is the North Africa expansion. They have, the first one was in Normandy. And you are trying to complete objectives by gaining units into your hand, and those units will die on the board, which means you will not be able to activate them, or you lose those cards, and your deck will not be as good if you're not taking care of the units that you found on the board. And Shut Up and Sit Down absolutely raved about this game, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
As a deck building tactical 2-player game, it's very unique.
Where should people be starting with it? Are we talking first edition? Are we talking base game? Or are we talking the North African?
So
is this standalone?
It's standalone. Yeah. It is standalone. I would try to grab the Normandy and start there as their first one. I think it's stand out, and they do differ in how they approach.
Do they mix?
I don't know that answer. I have not tried that. I would not be surprised if they do, but I don't know the answer to that. And it's funny too. The designers of this also designed one of my favorite games of all time, which you'll see in another list. So spoilers there. But this is just a very, very solid 2-player deck building game.
If other people like the games that you've already brought out, let's say people have tried these other 2 head-to-head type of systems, is this a natural, is this...
I think this fits right in there, and what you'll notice is, like, Watergate is a tug of war, and Unmatched is card playing, this is deck building. So, again, it fits within kind of the theme you're seeing with my games, but it incorporates different mechanisms. So, I think...
Cool.
Yeah.
Kohaku.
Ooh! What a lovely game.
What a beautiful game.
What a lovely game. Gold Seal Games. Okay.
Yes. So this is a very relaxing, very peaceful, tranquil game. You are building a koi pond, so there are koi tiles, and there are feature tiles. So they could be anything from dragonflies to the
frogs.
Stones, frogs. And so you are just trying to build the best garden. Koi pond, whatever. Yeah. So you place them, you score points. So there's frogs that want to be next to dragonflies. There's stones that want little fish that come with the big fish. There's flowers, which are the main thing, and they want to be next to the koi that match their color. So this does play, up to 4?
Yeah, 1 to 4, actually.
1 to 4. So, solo.
It does have the solo mode.
But I like the 2-player because we kind of do all the tiles. Well, so, I mean,
we do the King Domino thing.
We do the King Domino thing where we combine the two.
Into an epic
game. And we do a big game. It's a little bit longer, a lot more thinky, a lot tighter race, I feel like.
A lot higher scores, but the scores have been a lot tighter too because you see all the tiles and you can kind of draft.
I like this at 2-player. I played this primarily at 2-player. We covered the prototype for this when it was first hitting Kickstarter. I liked it so much at 2-player because the way that pond starts spilling out, the way it refills. If you get too many players on the board, a little bit more random. You don't have as much control. Whereas when you're going head to head, you can kind of see what the other person needs. You can see what you need. You can decide how you want the board to start flowing.
Right. And off of that, I also appreciate, because I really enjoy this game too. I appreciate that. In the drafting, you can hate draft, as they say, and try to take a tile, but this game doesn't reward that because it really wants you to do the best you can for your pawn. Now, if you could use the same tiles, sure, you might accidentally take something that you needed or I needed. But even purposely denying somebody a tile, you may not be able to maximize those points, and you could lose because of it.
Yeah, you're losing points if you're sacrificing your game to hurt them.
And I find that I have a different play style when I play 2-player versus with 4-player. When I do 3 or 4, I can focus on one color, and that's really what I go after. And when you're doing a 2-player, you can't do that because you're not gonna get.
You need to get
all of one color.
You almost have to do a whole pawn. It's usually how many colors are in here?
4.
There are 4.
Yes.
So it's usually 2.5. You're kind of spreading. You get this whole color wave going on.
So I just feel like it's a very different strategy for me because I can't do the focus on one because to 4 they're spreading out, they're taking all the tiles, so I'm going to see more.
I'm liking your list. Some I've played, quite a few I need to.
Oh my goodness.
Now we're getting to big box games.
So this is the game I was referring to at the beginning.
No interest in playing?
No interest in playing.
Which is odd though because you're wearing a Star Wars shirt. And
I would rather sit down and watch the movie.
So let's figure this out. Why do you have no interest in Rebellion? Because you've probably seen it set up on the table.
I know why.
Of course.
I know why.
It's just such a long game, and
Length.
I would rather when you played this for the first time with your friend Matt, I was hanging out with his wife. We were there. We went to a birthday party. We came back. They played this the whole day. I was we could watch the entire trilogy in the time it took you to set up, learn, play.
It took us about 5 hours.
I have an unreleased gameplay of this, maybe 8 months ago. We got maybe 5-6 hours into the recording session, and decided we probably won't ever edit this. Let's do something else.
Trying to edit a gameplay of this would be a feat. That would be a feat.
Why is it on your list? Why is it one of your favorite? I mean, it's only 2-player, right?
No, it plays 2 to 4.
Does
but it plays teams. So if you're playing a 4-player game, it's still Empire vs. Rebellion.
Let me go through one more time. It's only 2-player,
You're right. It is only 2-player. It is only a 2-player game. It is. So this is the most thematic experience in a board game you will ever play, and I will stand by those words until I die.
Really?
I don't want to give too many spoilers away.
Person that
I know you play Kingdom Death. I understand.
Well, no, I'm just saying
you're a thematic
aggressively reads flavor text.
I understand that. If you are a fan of the books, the comic books, any Star Wars, the movies, every time I have played this game, which is now over 30 times, I have gotten goosebumps from playing out cards that meet what happens in the movies.
Do you need to know source content, though, to appreciate Rebellion? Is it thematic only if you have that foundation?
I think it's thematic enough to... I think, in a sense, yes. But I also believe that it is mechanically solid enough to where if you're just a fan of games and don't care about the theme, this is a great 2-player cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
I think mechanically it stands on its own, and it's elevated to that GOAT status if you're a Star Wars fan.
This is one of the oldest games in our collection.
This
had this
is one of the things. Yes,
we had, and Spotlight did not exist.
This and Seven Wonders were the 2 games that have lasted in our collection the longest, and it's beat up, and I've had to tape the boxes and stuff. Do you want to show them the inside of the lid? Do you dare?
Oh,
the inside. Well, I stopped doing it.
Well,
but back when I first got it, my friend and I were writing in the wins here.
That's awesome.
So we wrote here, and this is from September 10th of 2000. That would have been 2015 or 16. There's November 16th there. So we wrote in here.
I kind of like that model for a game you're not getting rid of.
Oh yeah.
I sort of appreciate the idea of writing.
It'll never leave my collection. Yeah. And this is a game.
The house is on fire. This is what he's grabbing.
Maybe.
I have the child.
Child in one arm, and this is about as heavy as a child, so I could, child in one arm and this in the other arm. Maybe dice thrown in this. Maybe there we go. We'll do that.
You still have the child.
I still have the child.
And mechanically, again, you're programming your cards to take actions and send leaders out to complete missions, and you're also, as the Empire, trying to spread out and find the hidden rebel base. The rebel players trying to do guerrilla tactics. Again, it is Star Wars in a box. Mm-hmm. It is.
I like it.
So I'll shut up about that.
I like it. Oh. Move.
I'm gonna have to hold this one because it's gonna fly open.
Brilliant.
Guess you can.
How
see
much
it.
stuff do you got in there?
All of it.
So much stuff.
Oh, another important question for Star Wars Rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Expansion necessary? Your opinion. Hot take.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do another video on this.
No. That's a very fair question because I answer it a lot online.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that the original combat system was flawed.
Yeah.
It is random.
Uh-huh.
It's an Ameritrash game.
Not necessarily
But not
flawed.
necessarily flawed. Because it is a known quantity of the dice you're bringing in. You are making that conscious decision to either pressure luck and try to bring in as little as possible, or go all out and bring in big armies that you know are going to win. And that, to me, is great. However, I will say that the expansion does make the game better.
Okay.
But I would not say that
We'll
it's
talk
absolutely
about it more.
necessary.
We'll talk about it more. Orléans.
It's a good one.
Orléans. However you want to pronounce it.
Orléans.
Fantastic game. So, you can see it doesn't quite fit. So we have all the expansions in here. We have the 5th player, the trade and intrigue, the
geek bits, the player bags, every single expansion upgrade you can think of.
That came with Orléans, we have collected.
It's amazing.
So this is one of Derek and my favorite games. When we played it for the first time in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So it's been in our collection quite a while.
This is probably one of the older
almost
games
4
in our
years.
collection. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the geek bits. I know that doesn't have anything to do with the game, but if you're gonna play this game, you have to get the geek bits.
It's a Euro bag builder, right?
It is a bag builder. I love bag builders. I love it's a little bit random, but then when you have them out, you have so many choices with them. You have your own player board, and then there's the player board out there. It's so many choices. It's really that crunchy.
I like the way that you have to also decide how you're going to move on the board, because only one person can, in the building on the board, so it gets really tight. Yep. And I think one of the reasons why we like this most at 2 players is because it's open enough but still tight enough. Yep. In a 3 or 4 player game, well, 4 players especially, it's super tight.
You're missing out on stuff.
Super tight.
Yeah.
2 or 3 players, a little bit more open for you to kind of have a little bit more exploration. But I really like the way that, like you said, you have to choose how to move and build.
And it becomes a lot more playing against the player. What are they going to go after? Where do you need to be?
Playing off your opponent's
and
moves.
And then we have, play with the trade and intrigue, obviously.
Trade more than intrigue, though, right?
I like the trade because I am very non-confrontational. He likes the intrigue because he's like, I'm going to mess with Lizzie and make her mad. So...
To an extent. And then I'm like, oh, that was a terrible idea. Why did I do this? Now she's angry.
But he's still going to do it. Don't get it wrong.
Mistakes
were
made. I do enjoy the trade, though, and I think that is... I know, because the question gets raised often, what's the best expansion for Orléans? Okay. And I think if you're adding one, it's definitely Trade and Intrigue.
Absolutely.
In fact, now that we have Trade and Intrigue, I would never play this without the trade board.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think it just changes it in such a way that it's necessary just to have better
just really elevate
decisions and better strategy and things like that. So
cool. Is that the list?
That's it. That's the mod, the smushed together top 5, 10.
I like it. Out of all of these, if people were going to leave right now,
have you played this?
I have. It's great. I haven't played it with all the expansions. No, it's solid. And we've done a right for you, wrong for you. It's a really, really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Out of all of these, if people were going to go pick up one game to play with whether game or non-gamer, this is going to be too generalized, but who are people walking home? Who are people going to Amazon or going to their local game store and purchasing right now?
Such a mean question.
Dice thrown. It's dice thrown for me.
Dice thrown for you?
This is like forcing a book lover to choose their favorite book. It's like, that is just, you got to look at all of them. She's got to see what's out here.
It's Star Wars Rebellion. You know this. Go ahead and choose it.
No. I might say Kohaku. Because right now it comes with the acrylic tiles.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to reprint it. It's going to be cardboard. So you're going to miss a little bit of the beauty and the depth with those tiles.
Okay.
And that's
my story. I'm sticking to it.
Good answers. Either way.
But they're all good. Don't let Jesse back you into the corner of getting
not me.
one.
Not me. I'd never do that. Either way, thank you for joining us. We're going to go film 8, 9, 12 more videos.
All the videos.
Take some cute family photos. And then I'm going to hit the road again. And who knows where I'm going to be next.
No, Jesse.
Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye. See ya.